Di-refer ko kayo sa kanya.
Okay, magandang tanghali MPC. Kasama na natin si Chief Presidential Legal Counsel and Presidential Spokesperson Salvador Panelo.
Good afternoon, MPC. Shoot.
MPC questions Ace. Sino muna? Maricel.
Hi, sir. Good morning. Sir,
Morning.
may we have your reaction on the recent tweet of Foreign Affairs Secretary Teddy Boy Locsin? He said that he reject the suggestion to ship the Canadian waste out. I'll just read the tweet, sir, para nasa context. It is our mission to nail those natives who imported Canadian garbage to our country. We will make them miserable for the rest of their natural lives. However, we reject the suggestion to ship them out in a container of garbage. That's too much pollution. Your reaction, sir?
Anong ibig niya sabihin nun? Parang di ko yata naintindihan yun.
Ayaw niyang i-ship out yung basura.
Paano natin i-ship out? I-ship sa sea? Parang hindi ko maintindihan. Saan natin lalagay yung basura? I think you should address that question to him kasi medyo hindi ko naintindihan.
Yes, sir. What do you think of his idea if it's
Baka meron
indeed
siyang
true
ibang
na-
idea na sa halip na container, iba ang paglalagyan. Baka yun ang intindi ko.
Sabi ko,
May follow-up Ace? Microphone please.
But what is important is yung sinabi niya, will make their lives miserable. They send them back those trash.
Secretary, but how is Malacañang taking his opposition to the President's directive na i-ship out yung garbage? Kasi si Presidente galit
Hindi,
na
from what I understand doon sa text, ayaw niyang i-ship out doon sa container. Yun ang intindi ko. Baka ibang gusto niyang paglagyan. Hindi yung to ship back.
Will you seek,
Kasi I think he agrees that kailangan ibalik. Kagalit nga siya nun, di ba?
will you seek clarification from him about this tweet?
I'll ask him if I see him, but I would suggest you ask him direct para mas maganda.
Okay, salamat, Sec.
Okay, MPC questions, other issue. Chona? Wala na?
Thank you.
Joyce Balancio. Microphone please.
Sir,
Joyce.
yes, good morning, sir. Sir, bukas Labor Day, meron bang aasahan ng mga manggagawa na good news from the government regarding probably
Wala
wage
pa.
hike?
In relation to that, wala pa ako natatanggap na bagong info. Ang alam ko, nung nasa Beijing, pumayag siyang magpunta ron, San Fernando. Hindi ko alam kung tuloy yun o hindi.
May specific directive po ba si President Duterte regarding wage
Not
hike
that I know,
negotiations?
baka si Secretary Bello ang mas nakakaalam niyan. Kasi siyang kausap.
But as far as the palace is concerned, ano yung stand natin pagdating sa mga petitions or yung mga gusto ng mga manggagawa na
Kaya meron
increase yung
naman
sweldo?
tayong wage board, di ba? So whatever petitions they will have to file, have to go through the wage board.
Would you support, sir, any increase?
Hindi, nasa wage board yan. Kasi ang wage board ang magdi-determine yan eh. Kung kailangan o kung hindi, depende sa circumstances surrounding whatever petition they have in mind.
Do you have any advice or sa wage board on how they should go about these
Oh no,
petitions?
they know their jobs.
Okay. Raymond? Julie?
Sir, just
Julie.
follow up sa sinabi niyo po. You said that the president will be in San Fernando tomorrow. San
Yan ang
Fernando,
alam ko.
Pampanga.
Alam ko pumayag siya na maging speaker siya. Hindi ko alam kung
May we
tuloy.
know for what event, sir?
Ha?
May we know for what event?
Yung
Is it-
Labor Day nga.
Okay.
Sa San Fernando.
Okay.
May follow-up. Raymond Tinasa.
Sir Secretary Bello.
Absent ka kahapon, Raymond.
Yes. I just monitored you. Anyway, sir, over the weekends, Secretary Bello said that the President will do the groundbreaking of the 400 million state-of-the-art OFW hospital in
Tomorrow.
Yes, San Fernando, Pampanga. So, is that part of the scheduled
Yun
President?
ang alam kong umuo siya.
So,
Hindi ko alam kung tuloy.
okay.
Okay, MPC, questions? Sige, other topic na tayo. Joyce.
Sir, may Pulse Asia result. on senatorial candidates. And out of sa top 12, 8 candidates, most of them are endorsed by the president. Tatlo from the PDP and 5 guest candidates of the PDP are included in the top 12. Anong tingin natin dito, sir? Anong implication na malaki yung chances ng mga gusto ni Pangulo na manok na manalo?
Ibig sabihin, yung mga tao naniniwala kay Presidente. Naniniwala siya na ang mga tao na yung mga in-endorse niya, kailangan ni Presidente yon para tumulong sa kanya sa pagbabangon sa ating bansa sa ilalim ng kahirapan, ng kaguluhan, at nung ano-ano pa. It means malakas ang kanyang endorsement appeal. At kahit na may manalo doon sa kabila na hindi in-endorse, ang tingin ko doon, pag ikaw pinanalo ng taong bayan, ang mensahe sa iyo, kaya kita pinanalo dyan, para tulungan mo yung pinagkakatiwalaan naming presidente, hindi para manggulo ka. Kaya ka namin lalagay dyan. Yun ang mensahe sa mga mananalong hindi na-endorse.
So in relation nandun, yung federalism, so stronger yung chance na mahabol pa siya within his term kahit pa may, well, alam naman, natanong na rin naman kahapon yung opposition ni Sara Duterte.
Well, as I've repeatedly said, yung issue ng federalism would have to depend on the framers of the Constitution and ultimately will depend on the approbation of the Filipino people. Sa ngayon, syempre, there will be competing ideas on whether or not okay ang federalism or hindi, whether or not itong klaseng federalism ang dapat o ibang klaseng federalism. Kung baga nasa ano pa tayo, debate kung anong maganda.
Okay, Raymond. Or Shona muna.
Follow up lang sa federalism. What was the response of the president nung sinabi ni Mayor Sara na she's against federalism?
I haven't talked to him, but knowing him, sabihin ni Presidente, most likely, we respect everybody's opinion on any matter, on any idea.
Okay, MPC, tanong?
Let 1,000 flower be planted. Seeds. Tingnan natin kung ano. Kanya-kanyang ano yan. Kanya-kanyang diskarte.
MPC questions, Joseph?
Sir, yung sa EO lang po ng decommissioning.
EO?
Yes,
Executive
executive
order.
order on the normalization aspect of the POL, the CAB, MILF, decommissioning, sir.
I haven't read it. I have not seen a copy. Wala pang binibigay sa akin.
But anyway, the decommissioning is, of course, the MILF rebels will return to
Yes,
civilian
they're in the
life,
arms.
Any statement on that? How important is this? Just to maybe get a soundbite that we accept them or they return to civilian life.
Well, if there is a program for that, I'm sure the MILF will follow the procedure as outlined.
What does it mean, sir, when we have this kind of activity?
What?
What does it mean when we have this kind of activity?
In terms
As
of
far
what?
as improving the situation in Mindanao, the peace situation there.
Well, that means the
What does it symbolize?
MILF has embraced peace with the government, and in fact is working hand in hand for the attainment of peace in that area.
Okay. Sir, can I shift to China?
Mm.
Ba't hindi namin kay sir naramdaman? Charing.
Ano yan?
Wala, sir. All right. When we talk to Ambassador Santa Romana with regard to the presence of the Chinese fishermen in Pag-asa, ang sabi po niya is that both countries, the Philippines and China, agree that we are not threats to each other. Any expectations on any Chinese actions given that statement end after the bilateral meeting with the president.
I do not know what he means with that. What exactly does he mean? We are not
Meaning there
threats?
is no point in staying there because we are not going to be threatening each other. So do we expect any action on the part of the Chinese?
Ah,
Mhm.
well, as I've said earlier yesterday, we filed a diplomatic protest of that, right? So I have not been informed whether there has been an official response coming from the other side.
Do we expect them to move away?
I expect them to make a response. I
What-
don't know what response will that be.
If they don't move away, is this the kind of response that we're waiting?
Well, if they don't move away, that is precisely the work of the bilateral mechanism on negotiations, so that we can talk how to deal with it.
Meaning it can take a while and we're fine with it.
Well, it may take a while, it may take soon, it may take sooner. Depende.
So we're just going to wait on the Chinese.
Kailangan meron tayong official response from them kasi hindi pa natin alam kung anong response nila.
All right. Also,
Kasi
sir,
di ba I said, they may even dispute that. They may even say na hindi sa kanila yon o hindi nila alam yon.
okay. As of now, sir, wala pa tayong, because we've seen you talk to Ambassador Shao, no?
No, I haven't talked to, yung ano lang
Yeah.
yun. Chika-chika lang
Of
yun.
course, but you know, when
That
it
was
becomes,
chika-chika.
when it's between two policymakers,
No, we never talk about it. In fact, puro wala lang yan, kwentuhang
chikahan
kutsero.
lang. He didn't tell you anything about the nature of the Chinese vessels there,
No,
characteristics?
wala siyang sinabi.
All right, because Secretary Lorenzana said they are fishermen according to the ambassador.
Wala siyang sinabi sa akin.
Does it change the complexion if they are
If-
fishermen? No, because the ambassador supposedly told Secretary Lorenzana that those are not militia, but fishermen.
They're fishermen.
Does it change the complexion?
They're fishing where?
In Pagasa, sir.
Around our territory,
Pagasa Island, sir.
which is ours.
Yes, sir,
Oh,
KIG.
edi, it will not change the complexion kasi dapat nagpapaalam sila.
Meaning there is still a violation.
Oh, syempre, kung atin yun, bakit naman sila basta papasok na?
Sir, sige, si Ina muna.
Follow up muna ni Raymond and then Ina. Raymond? China rin?
Sir, you also confirmed that Xi Jinping and President Duterte agreed to disagree, or they stood to their own position with regards to the dispute. So what's the sense of going to bilateral
No, I did say
negotiations?
agree to disagree. I said they agree that whatever irritants or challenges relative to what is happening there will be resolved by way of mechanism of bilateral negotiations. That's what I said.
But still, President Xi, you said, stood to the Chinese position, while the president also stood to his. Yes. So
But they're still open. Both sides are open. And
and
that is why I said that's a welcome.
in the
Sorry.
bilateral negotiations, both the governments will stood to their own position again.
Yes, but you can even if even if you insist on your side of your position, you can still argue and resolve mutually to both sides' satisfaction on how to deal with that problem.
So because there are some experts like Mr. Batumbakal, Professor Batumbakal, saying that the bilateral mechanism is inefficient and it's about time to bring the issue to a multilateral such to the UN.
He's entitled to his opinion.
And you still believe that the bilateral mechanism is the most effective
Of
to
course, yes. You don't resolve a conflict by going to war or armed hostilities. It will not solve anything. In fact, all the conflicts in the world, when not resolved by means of negotiations, end up in armed hostilities.
no, that's the armed conflict is beyond or out of the picture, but on other venue like the UN or any other third party to resolve the issue.
Sa kanya nga, wala namang nagre-resolve, di ba? Wala nga gustong makialam eh. So siguro tayo munang dalawa mag-usap.
Okay, still on China, Ina, and then Pia. RJ, China rin.
Sir, dun sa waiting for China to officially respond to the last diplomatic protest, how confident are you that a response is actually forthcoming? Because the Foreign Affairs Secretary previously said that China has never responded to any of the protests we filed before, and considering that it's already been 1 month since we filed the protest regarding Pagasa.
Considering that there has been a bilateral meeting between the two heads of the state, and they agreed that they can settle whatever irritants or challenges that confront both sides, then I'm confident that there will be a response. And there will be a basis for a dialogue or talk or negotiation between the two countries.
Or hindi po kaya baka China, since both presidents agreed to continue dealing with the dispute through bilateral negotiations, will just take that route instead of actually responding dun sa formal protest?
And syempre, they will respond. During the bilateral talks, syempre, if I were part of the panel, yun ang tanong ko kagad. Oh, we filed a diplomatic protest. What is your position? Di ba? That should be the first question in any meeting.
And if that's the case, what has our panel been doing in the previous BCM
That I do not know kasi I'm not
negotiations?
part of the panel.
Okay. Lastly, sir, how would you describe then, sir, since is it an impasse now that we're seeing in Pagasa Island? Because we've called out China for staying there. China has not been moving. Is it an impasse? Is that the right way to describe it?
Hindi naman kasi gaya nung sinabi mo, sabi ni Ambassador Chito, sabi ni Ambassador, hindi naman daw militia, di ba? Fisherman. O di medyo may pagbabagong complexion kasi wala naman palang arm. Kumbaga, it's a question of, okay, fish dyan sa amin yan. Ba't nyo kami inuunahan? Di ba ako humingi ng permit? So, I don't think may antayin na lang natin kasi very recent yung usapan nilang dalawa na they agreed na, let's talk. Let's wait for that.
Pia.
Sir, you said in your statement that China has committed to give the Philippines 1 billion
Committed to what?
committed to give the Philippines 1 billion yuan grant.
Yeah.
Sir, do we have an idea already on the
Hindi ko
nature
alam
of the
kung
grant?
I haven't asked Teddy Boy Locsin about that. Whether that's a grant. Pero I don't want to guess. It could refer to the rehabilitation centers establishment of that. Hindi ko pa alam eh. Kaya I have to talk to Secretary Locsin about it.
Pero it was committed by President Xi
Yeah,
during the
in fact,
bilateral
I was
meeting.
quoting, di ba? Kinote ko siya sa statement. Yun ang pagkasabi niya. Yun ang pinakalas na sinabi niya. China will provide 1 billion yuan to the Philippines. Yun ang exact words niya.
On what he did not say.
Wala siyang sinabi.
Will there be any conditionalities?
I don't think so. Like for instance, di ba, nagpagawa sila yung meron silang kinoconstruct na mga libre. Wala naman silang hinihingi. Bigay lang sila. Yung bridge na ginagawa rito sa Makati. I forget the name of the bridge. Meron silang mga ina-undertake na walang bayad.
So, ano pong status,
Like yung
sir?
rehabilitation centers. So hindi ko pa alam. I will have to ask Secretary Locsin ano yung nature ng 1B yuan.
But the Philippines has accepted that grant, sir.
Wala pa namang, sinabi niya lang, nagbibigay. Wala pa naman siya binibigay.
What was the President's response?
Kasi yung response niya, sa babanda yun. I think the response is, we continue with our friendly terms, negotiation, discussing mutual concerns. Yan, general ang mga sagot eh.
All right, thank you, sir.
RJ. Last on China, RJ and Joseph.
Sir, did you say that multilateral negotiations is not an option in resolving the West Philippine Sea issue?
Sa ngayon, bilateral muna.
Mhm. Why?
Kasi I remember si Presidente nung a year ago, parang hindi siya masyadong hot sa multilateral. Kasi nga, may problema yun, dalawang bansa, di mag-bilateral muna kayo. Siguro if that fails, baka maging option yun.
Is it not
Among
failing?
the claimants.
Is it not failing yet since nothing?
It's not what?
Is it not failing yet since
Wala
the
pa nga, hindi pa nga.
BCM has been there
Hindi
for
pa nga
quite some time?
nag-uumpisa yung bilateral negotiation after the meeting, di ba?
It started in
Iba
2017,
pa
sir.
yun. Di ba, remember, pwede namang iba ang pinag-usapan nila doon. Hindi. Pinipilit mo yung confined eh. Di ba sabi ko, pwede
Wait.
namang, kung yun create, pwede naman nilang pag-usapan yung ibang usapan doon. Hindi porket, yan, pag-usapan na, kung pareho sila hindi,
What would convince the Philippines to take this to a multilateral level?
we will have to wait for the president. The president's the one charters the foreign policy. That is his right and discretion. We cannot be preempting the president of this.
Sir, being a small country and a small economy, what compared to China, what advantage do we have in the BCM,
Ano BCM?
the bilateral consultative committee?
The advantage there is whatever differences you have, you can settle it by way of that mechanism.
All right, and we expect China to listen to us.
We
Okay.
expect them to have an open mind.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Ina?
Sir, this is why yesterday I was asking you kung ano bago dun sa bilateral negotiations na napag-agrihan.
Hindi,
Is
kaya
this a mechanism that will be separate from the BCM, which we also talked about yesterday?
Wala pang sinasabi kung separate o yung pa rin.
Because it will be the same, it will have the same purpose. So it's just going to be, tama po ba, a continuation of the BCM?
Hindi ko alam kung may bago o the same. Wala
Oo nga.
pang...
Sir, because again, I don't, please explain what new there was doon sa agreement na pag-resolve ng dispute through bilateral negotiations because
Let's wait for the president's directive on that.
it's been 2 years
We cannot
since we started the
We cannot be
talks.
guessing here. We have to wait for the directive of the president. Vis-a-vis what happened in that bilateral meeting. Siyempre magkakaroon ng directive yan. Kung he has made one to the Secretary of Foreign Affairs, I'm not privy to that.
But you were there in the bilateral meeting, sir,
Oh
right?
yeah, pero wala. Ang bilateral meeting kasi puro prepared lang yan statements. Wala naman silang pinag-uusapan na.
Okay.
Ano?
When the Chinese president, sir, told President Duterte that China does not recognize the arbitral ruling, hindi po kaya yun yung official response nila doon sa ating protest?
Kasi yung salita nila was made in general statements. Parang welcome yung isa, nagsalita yung isa, palitan lang. Binabasa lang nila eh.
Thank
Hindi
you, sir.
na-discuss yung mga detalye nun. It's all general.
Thank you.
Okay, Joseph? Ang China, Ace and Nestor. Oh,
Sir, we saw you in the bilat, no?
Kinuna mo pa ako.
Of course, syempre. You know that there was an interesting anecdote there, correct?
What about what?
The president cut short his speech, his prepared speech, to raise the arbitral ruling. Remember that?
No, that is not where he raised the bilateral. Ang sinabi niya, I remember, kinat short niya because, ganito in fact, I told the president, ganito ang predicate, para sinabi niya, there are irritants there. Tapos dinagdag niya na, parang ang predicate is, baka kayo nandun, dahil baka akala nyo, kami naglalagay ng mga nuclear arms doon. At pinapabayaan namin yung mga Amerikanong pumunta ron. Definitely hindi. But as long as president, unang-una sabi niya, that is against the Constitution. So hindi kami papayag na mayroong mga nuclear arms o mayroong mga Amerikano doon na magtata. Yun ang huminto siya, tapos bumalik na siya ulit.
Alright, so ito po yung sinasabi ni Ambassador Santa Romana na we are not irritants. We're not threats to each other, yes? Correct?
Yan ang sabi niya.
Oo. Okay. And then sabi yata ni, if I remember it correctly, no, according to a source, ang sabi ni Presidente is, I will not mention the arbitral ruling, but he mentioned all the other incidents in the Pag-asa. Meaning to say, that's a very
Hindi,
crafty way, very
He didn't
wise
say
way
it
of,
that way.
so I think, okay.
He didn't say it that way. Baka iba ang intindi niya.
All right, so this is also a cabinet official.
Sino? Sino ka?
I'll tell you later, sir. It's maybe nearer to the table than maybe you are.
May mikropono eh. Mikropono nasa tenga.
Okay. Sir, okay. Before going to China, we've had very strong statements, no? Move away, that's our property, whatever, ganyan.
Anyway, meron na ka tayong protesta, di ba?
Correct, correct. And the president said, when we won in 2016, when in the arbitral ruling, there is going to be a right time for it to be brought up. Correct?
Di ba right time na yun? Hindi ba binanggit niya na nga?
Correct. And the response of President Xi was, sorry, we do not recognize the arbitral ruling.
Oh,
As
pero,
a friend.
at the same time, sinabi niya rin na, ano ba sabi niya? Di ba? Whatever irritants we have, we can settle that dun sa bilateral negotiations. Moreover, ang importante sa akin yung sinabi niya, we are allies. And allies strengthen each other. Do not destroy. O di, dun lang makikita mo na kung talaga magkakaibigan tayo, di resolve natin yung conflict natin.
So therefore, what actions of China do we see as not strengthening our
I
relationship?
do not know what actions that they will or it will undertake. But what I'm telling you is what the president of China said, quote unquote.
Okay, so,
So
sir,
whatever action they will take, I suppose it should be consistent with what he said during the bilateral.
okay, that's na lang, sir. So, yung meeting po, bilateral meeting with the president and President Xi, are meeting between friends. He said, President Xi said, this a genuine, true friend, President Duterte,
Not only
right?
between friends, between heads of state, between
Correct.
two sovereign countries.
Does he not feel slighted, President Duterte, that he brought up this issue and China only said, we do not recognize the arbitral ruling?
How can he be slighted? That has been their position ever since. From the very start, that has been the position of China. And from the very start also, that is also our position, that it is ours. Well, what kind of a slight? Dati na naman position nila yun. And then I will repeat. What is important to me is open sila na i-resolve ang dispute doon sa negotiation table. Yun ang mahalaga sa akin.
Okay, last on China, Nestor.
Secretary, what concrete gains have we attained since the first BCM meeting in 2017? Because the Philippines and China have repeatedly agreed to exercise self-restraint and caution in the South China Sea.
I will not be competent to respond to that because I'm not a member of that panel. We'll have to ask exactly, ano bang mga napag-usapan nyo noon? Ano bang hiningi nyo na binigay? O kung hindi man binigay, anong ginawa nila? Kailangan alam natin yan.
But what made you say, Secretary, that bilateral negotiation is still the best option for both countries?
Kasi there is no other option except to talk. Because we do not want to engage in armed hostilities, whether small armed hostilities or expanded armed hostilities that will be costly to both sides, especially on our side. Kasi wala naman tayong kakayahan. So pag-usapan natin.
Yes.
Kasi I remember, meron silang, dati-dati hindi tayo nakakapasok doon sa isang area na nakaka-fish na yung mga Chinese, yung mga Filipino fishermen. Kaya, I remember, kaya yun ang resulta ng pag-uusap nila noon with Secretary Cayetano. So, meron din nangyari.
Okay, Nestor.
Tayo mainit. Tingnan natin. Kasi the president believe me, the president will not be sitting down idly kung walang mangyayari. Pinangako niya na yun eh. Hindi siya papayag. Sa ngayon, mag-usap-usap muna tayo.
Pia muna. China ulit.
Sir, China ulit. Sir, yung presence ng Chinese vessels, paramilitary vessels in Pag-asa Island, isn't that an indication that the bilateral consultative mechanism is not working?
First, sabi ni, sino to? Ni Ambassador South, relayed to Chito, hindi naman daw paramilitary. Ano? Hindi naman daw military vessel yun. Then they have to respond officially. Kailangan may official response. Hindi mo pwede yung sabi ni ganito, sabi ni ganyan.
Pero sir, yung pagpunta doon ng mga Chinese vessels, whether they are paramilitary or fishing vessels, it happened as the Philippines and China are negotiating in the bilateral consultative mechanism, which you said is the best approach in the problem. Pero despite these negotiations, nangyari po yun. So isn't that an indication that the track that we are pursuing is not effective?
Alam nyo, pareho rin yan, let me give an analogy. While we're talking with the communist, may mga violation ng ceasefire. Parang ganun din yan eh. Pero it doesn't mean na hindi tayo pwedeng mag-usap pa. Kasi may mga reason sila bakit nag-violate. Sinasabi na, hindi, inatake kami. Nag-respond lang kami. You get the point? So it doesn't make any indication na failure yung negotiation.
It's just that they cannot prevent violations by the Chinese in the disputed
Kaya
area.
nga, that's why I've been saying, let's wait for an official stand on the matter on their part. Wala pa eh. I want to have an official stand.
Okay. Henry, other issue.
Hindi mo ako ginising kanina.
Dito na lang, Secretary. After China, can we talk about illegal drugs?
The what?
Illegal drugs tayo, Secretary.
Illegal drug.
Okay. May confirmation na ba kayo dun sa sinabi ni Secretary Guevara kahapon na may offer ang Palace na 10 million para sa mas mabilis na pagkahuli kay Colonel Asierto?
I have no info on that officially. Si Secretary Guevara nagsabi, I suppose siya ang may kausap sa palasyo.
He said his information came from the office of the
Kaya
president.
nga, then we should ask him instead of me.
All right.
Kasi hindi ako...
So as a spokesperson of the
Oh,
president,
but I'm
walang
not-
binabanggit sa
exactly,
inyo.
wala nga eh. Baka siya ang kinausap.
Okay.
Kasi nasa Justice Department yun eh. Area niya talaga yun eh.
All right. Itong mga suspects sa illegal drugs, to be specific, si Peter Lim. Anong information na ho natin kay Peter Lim ngayon?
Wala akong alam. I will have to ask General Albayalde, PNP chief.
Alright. Are we expecting, Secretary, na maglalabas din ng mas malaking reward money ang Malacañang for Peter Lim? Because I understand, 2018, merong 500,000 na patong na sa ulo si Peter Lim. And sabi ng CIDG, siya po yung #1 source of shabu sa Region 7 and 8. Wala bang plano ang palasyo na patungan din siya ng malaking reward money para mabilis na mahuli itong si Peter
I'll
Lim?
ask the President during our cabinet meeting.
Alright. We will wait for your answer.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, no more questions, MPC? Okay, thank you, MPC. Ina, microphone.
Sir, the Department of Energy is suggesting or saying that there might be a need to extend yung holiday declaration in time for the elections. Bakit daw po kailanganin na i-declare din na holiday yung May 14 to ensure na hindi po magkakaroon ng
Hindi
brownouts
ko
when
alam yan.
votes are being
I
tallied?
don't know about that. Parang ngayon ko lang narinig yan Kay Secretary Husi?
Hold on. Basta DOE, sir. Sino ba ito? Is the palace open to that idea?
The palace will listen to whatever idea that it is presented to it and will respond and act.
Pag-aaralan yun,
Hindi
sir.
pa nga yan. I don't think the President knows about it.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sorry, may last two
Wala
pa.
kang mapag-aaralan kung hindi mo pa natatanggap.
Ina,
Kung
okay?
natanggap mo na,
Ina-
saka mo magpag-aaral.
Last two, Tina Maralit.
Sir, good afternoon po. Sir, quick reaction lang po dun sa call ni Senator Gordon to probe the influx of foreign doctors practicing in the country.
To prove na ba't lang? Influx of
Foreign doctors,
foreign doctors?
pinapaimbestigahan po niya.
Pwede imbestigahan. Ano ba naman? Ano bang masama doon?
No, sir, but from illegal workers, tas ngayon doctors, parang saan po kaya tayo nalulusutan in that sense?
Unang-una, baka tayo rin may influx din ng mga doctors na nawawala natin sa Pilipinas. Di ba? Daming mga doktor na nagpupunta sa ibang bansa. Baka kulang na tayo. Kaya nakakapasok sila. Kaya tama yun. He should really investigate the whys and the wherefores of this influx of foreign doctors to the country. Para
Thank you, sir.
malaman natin.
Last question from Sunshine TV. Microphone, please.
Good afternoon, sir. Ano pong masasabi niyo sa pagpapatigil po ng ACO Bicol Party List sa provincial bus ban sa EDSA po?
Ano yan? Ako? Ano yan?
ACO Bicol Party List po,
Pinatigil lang alin?
yung provincial bus ban sa EDSA, sir. Yun po yung
Pinatigil?
pagpapatigil po, apel na po.
Hindi ba MMDA yun? Ang nag-decide noon? Hindi naman yung partidong yun.
Pinapatigil po, ano po sila ng
Oh, but the MMDA, di ba, granted it. It's experimental as explained by MMDA. Experimental pa lang daw. Optional nga. Hindi naman daw mandatory.
Okay? Okay. Joseph, last question.
Bukas. May mga Labor Day rally po against the president. Yung taon-taon na any comment. Yung mga calls nila na anti-labor policies, yung effect ng train law, mga endo bill
It's
na
their
open.
right to protest. You can even join them. You can even join them if you feel like joining.
It's a holiday, sir, so I'm taking a day off. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Secretary Panelo.
Thank you.
Thank you, MPC. Back to our main studio sa Radyo Pilipinas and People's Television Network.